is Millennial Me, and I am back with another special guest, Etep, the Fandom Menace People's Champion.
That's right. I got my hang on. I was terribly unprepared, but here it is right here. It's always right by me. I got my belt, the Fandom Menace People's Champion, the most electrifying man in the Fandom Menace.
Okay, that brings me to my first question
Yeah.
for you. How did you get into wrestling?
It's really funny because I didn't get in through the traditional like going and finding a school and training. Um, I had a friend who it's a friend of a friend kind of thing, and we both got in. Well, they hired me to be a play-by-play
Mm-hmm.
announcer for the a new promotion,
Mm-hmm.
and they heard what I did on the mic, and once they like got a look, because I was amateur modeling at the time. This is in like 2008. um
Wow.
and yeah, I got in that, and it was after a photo shoot. They're like, hey, you want to come, be our announcer? I'm like, all right. Like, well, why don't you get in the ring? So I started doing it in the ring interview segment. Then I started ring announcing. Then it was, hey, you're athletic, you're you work. Why don't you do spots? So I did little gimmick matches here and there, and then it led to me getting fully trained in 2016, like 8 years after I'd been in the business.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
8 or 9 years I'd been at that. I can't remember if it was 2007 or 8 I got in, yeah, but yeah, it was a minute before I really started like working full time. Then I worked full time for the last year and a half of my career because I was only in until the end, like October, November of 2017 was my last show. End of October. I had two shows, and then I kind of had to kind of bow out. But yeah, I got in that way, and like I said, I had already carved out a niche in the independent circuit in Michigan as like a ring announcer who had actually like a gimmick. I was Pete Daddy Dollar. I had entrance music. I came down to the ring, like I sold t-shirts. You know, so it was not a lot of ring announcers were doing that. They would just come down and, this is this guy down. I'm like, why not jazz it up? So and in between this time, I was for 6 years I was working as a DJ in FM radio too, while I was wrestling and ring announcing. So yeah, I was a performer. It was easy for me to kind of put that hat on, so to speak, and and be in front of a crowd and be comfortable. But
And you got to the belt you showed off.
yeah.
You got that with your. You were part of a tag team, weren't you?
Yeah, that is one of my that's my personal. That's just that's I acquired that. I acquired that a long time ago, and it just stayed with me, we'll say. It never left me. No, the belts that I had when, yes, I was part of a tag team, cuz the guy that I got into the business with, James Dillinger, he he and I were IWE tag team champions, and we had what we called the IWE belts, and then we called the team ratings titles, which was team ratings was the stable we were part of, much like the NWO. It was basically the NWO. I
That's
I
awesome.
I completely, when I came in, I said, look, this is what I want to do. We had the stable name, but I'm like, I want to change the stable. I said, I'm going to make this hot. I said, we're going to basically redo the entire NWO thing. And
Oh my gosh.
to a certain extent we did, to the point where if I wouldn't have left, we were going to splinter our main group into two factions, and it was going to be like the Wolf Pack versus the Black and White.
Oh
and
my god.
and James and I were going to split because we were basically Hall and Nash. So we were going to split, and one goes one way, one goes the other, and then we would eventually work for the world title. But it didn't work out. I had to leave, kind of take an early retirement, which really killed me because we wanted to do that, because we had guys that were on the roster that we had picked out already,
Hmm.
that okay, we're going to bring him in, he's coming with me, because we did that. We didn't even really tell anybody what we were going to do. It was kind of like a work shoot. We started just watching guys like work. We'd sit in the gorilla position and watch matches. We'd have our hoods on so nobody could like really tell who we were in the back of the crowd watching matches and basically scouting, because honestly, if I wasn't interested in somebody outside of my matches, I never paid attention to anything that was going on. I didn't. It's like, because I was involved as a worker when I came to IWE, at the end of my career. I was involved in team ratings, and there was at one point 8 of us. So I would have to make in 2 TV tapings 5 to 6 appearances sometimes
Oh,
in
okay.
front of the crowd. In either, I would usually work a match each taping, and then I would be coming down to the ring, or I'd be doing a promo in the back, or we're doing a beatdown segment, something like that. We have to come out after a match, interfere. So it was really difficult for me to follow anybody else, and I felt bad because guys like, hey, did you watch my match? Because they want feedback, and I'm like, a lot of times I'd be, oh yeah, good, nice, but sometimes I'd just be like, I honestly couldn't. It depends on how intoxicated I was at that point.
Oh
To be
dear.
honest with you, yeah, Scott Hall was my favorite worker, probably in all of professional wrestling from the time I can remember, when he was Big Scott Hall down and working for, it was somewhere in Florida. I want to say it was FCW, but I can't remember. Way back in the day. And then AWA, when you just had that big glorious like 80s mustache, that curly hair,
Oh my god.
before he was Razor Ramon.
Mm.
I absolutely, but when he just started doing the hey yo, and with the and I did that. I came out and I would flick. Instead of a toothpick, I used a coffee stirrer because I don't want to poke anybody in the eye in case I hit him with the face. So I would have a coffee stirrer cut in half and I'd flick it at somebody, and yeah, I would I drink a lot on the way to the shows, during the show, right up to the time I worked. And a lot of people, oh, that's not safe. I never hurt anybody in the ring. I was so careful. If I punch you in the ring and you take a work punch, it's gonna feel like you're getting hit with a pillow. I throw the softest punches because it's like we're telling a story. I was
Right.
trained originally back when I first started. I started training with Shane Morton, who, if you're familiar with the Southern wrestling, Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. Shane is his nephew, and we booked him, I think, 3 or 4 times. And before the shows, I would roll with him, and he trained me in that old Southern style, that Tennessee walk and talk, and the heel's always the general. He leads and that's how I learned in their punches. It's just like they don't work snug at all, but I had to work snug a couple times because you get potatoed. It's like, you're going to get a receipt for that. You're getting one back. And the first person to do it to me was one of the guys that we had kicked out of our stable. He was one of the original guys in team ratings. And I love Rick to death. We're friends to this day. He's a big guy. I mean, I'm 6'3". Like now I'm down to 220. I've lost 10 pounds already on my diet this new year. But yeah, Rick is like, oh, well, he's like 330. I mean, he's a big dude. And he hit me, and I was like, God damn, I didn't go down, but I got him outside the ring, and I had him, and I had two freebies. I took my forearm, and I just hit him in the back as hard as I could, like twice. I don't want to hit somebody in the head. I wouldn't, he accidentally crowned me, and I hit him in the back. I just thumped him twice. And we get done, and I'm grabbing him, going to throw him into the ring post, and he goes, "Are we good?" I'm like, "Absolutely." Throw him into the ring post, But and when we were sitting backstage after the match having a beer, laughing about it, because the crowd was, because he had turned babyface at that point. So the
Oh.
crowd was, because we kicked him out of the stable. We gave him we're in the ring, and it's like, it's time to take the trash out, Rick. Somebody's not pulling their weight, Rick, because we always played on his weight. And because I'd announced myself as my weight went up, because I was 200 pounds. And when I retired, I worked my way up. I was 245. I was big. And my partner and I would take turns. We'd walk up we had this cute little ring announcer, and I'd walk up to her, I had a feather boa, and I'd take my feather boa and I'd pull it around her neck and pull her right against me. And be like, "Now give me the microphone." I'd take the mic from her and back her into the corner and be like, "Now sit here and look pretty and watch me work." And oh yeah, I would. She got a kick out of it. She was probably I was about 36, 37. She was 20. And we'd be backstage doing shots before the show. She come back, I have a fifth of Grey Goose vodka in my bag. Well, my cooler, I come in with a rolling cooler and my gear bag. And I had a camping chair. I'd set up shop. I was like, we're OGs in here. We were like the oldest guys in the locker room. So we just, we kind of own that shit. So it was fun though. We were basically like kind of living the gimmick. We were almost like the real NWO, because we sat in the locker room together. And then like all the other, there was a lot of the younger guys like, oh, you want to come hang out with us, or, you know what I mean? It was fun though. I had fun with it. I didn't really like the person wrestling made me personally, though. That's part of the reason why I left. It's it's a dirty business. It really is. Um, there's a lot of shady people in it. Uh, both, yeah, and a lot of shitty promoters. I was fortunate enough. I will say this about IWE: it's run by a great guy. Both the promoters are wonderful people. They always treated me good. Um, and I have nothing but good things to say about the promotion. I do. It wasn't anything to do with the promotion. It was time for me to go. It was my family or wrestling at that point, so I was like, I'm out.
That makes a lot of sense. And did that prepare you for you taking on YouTube?
And that's funny too because I've been YouTubing since 2006.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I still have a channel out there, and if you're clever enough, you can find it pretty easily. There's I don't know 100 and some videos on it. Probably at one point I think like I started in '06 and I started literally with a Howard Stern wig on and
Oh,
sunglasses. Yeah, I did. I had a wig on. You couldn't even tell
oh,
it was me. I
Lord.
did that for like one video, I think. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was so funny. Like I just had
Maybe you
like,
should bring that character back.
oh no, that character's not. I have a Jesus wig and beard now. I bought it. I bought it just with a barbed wire for my bat for Halloween because I was Negan. So, which incidentally, the bat is right here. And this is the very same bat that I used to carry to the ring with me when I was wrestling, sans the plastic gimmick barbed wire. But no,
Nice.
yeah, this was it's a very, very old Louisville Slugger that belonged to my wife's grandfather.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yep, I started carrying that to the ring with me. And I hit a few people with it, some soft, some a little bit stiffer shots than others, but it just depends on who deserved what.
All right. So you said you started with the Howard Stern looking
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
So what made you start on the place to be reviews?
Well, I working in radio, I'd gotten banned from the air a couple times for we'll call it editorializing. I never got fined for any cursing or anything like that. That was $275,000 a pop to the house. So I think it was from the FCC, depending on what you said. So I was always very careful when I was live, and a lot of my stuff was pre-recorded. And I would go back and I would double and triple check my sound tracks because there were sometimes I would get frustrated when I couldn't record something right with my
Right.
voice track music and all that, and I would I'd have to go back and be like, oh, I can't have that on the air. But no, so I wanted to do a podcast back in 2015, a year after I'd been in radio. I'd been banned like 3 times, but they didn't fire me. I was good at what I did. That was I was good at it. I enjoyed it. Just the people that I worked for were very short-sighted and had a very narrow-minded and, well, shall we say, dogmatic viewpoint. So we kind of clashed heads creatively. So I wanted to start a podcast, and I was like, I didn't really know how to do it, and I started listening to World Class Bullshitters shortly after The Last Jedi, a couple months after The Last Jedi. And I had Googled do people hate The Last Jedi? Because I was getting attacked for saying I don't like this movie. I don't, and
Right.
my Google just responded. it just Googled, do people hate The Last Jedi? Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do, Google. It's okay. You can rest easy, little friend. And I, just listening to Jeff over the course of like like a year or two, I was like, man, I really want to do this. Really, inspired me, to want to get into it and get back into YouTubing. So I started a podcast on Anchor FM, which was me sitting in the room that I'm in now, basically just flip-flopped, talking into this phone. I would handwrite scripts out. They would be about 5 to 7 pages long, and I would either break down my wrestling matches. I was going through show by show in my time with IWE on the early episodes of the Anchor show. And it led into, I was like, you know what? I want to start doing videos. I'm like, I really, so I got a computer. I bought a laptop, and I started, the Anchor, I met a lot of YouTubers through the World Class Bullshitters group that came on my Anchor show.
Oh,
Commander
okay.
Cody, Adam from Raiders of the Lost Flicks, the Appalachian American, and from the men's room, and many others. and they, you know, it was like, man, the guy was like, you're good at it. You're going to start a YouTube channel. And I would share the links. I asked Jeff Hicks,
Mm-hmm.
may I share the links in the group? And he said, you know, absolutely, man. Anything to, you know, help somebody up and coming, because I'd kind of developed, you know, somewhat of a friendship with him through, you know, Facebook at that point. And
Right.
he's actually been gracious enough to come on the show a couple times. He's going to come on the Monday night Going in Raw show here in a week or two, I think. He's
Awesome.
coming back on. Yeah, so he, you know, he was very helpful and gave me a lot of, you know, tips. And then I met guys like Salvador on a stream of Jeff's that I was invited on to. And that's how, you know, I've met Sal, Tony, my co-host, you know, Tony Tone Deaf from the Clown World Review. I met him through the comment section of World Class. I have networked a lot and met a lot of awesome people who I've worked on, been, you know, blessed enough to work with on YouTube. And then, you know, the Fandom Collective, who I met through, hooked up with everybody there through Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm glad, you know, things have really happened. It's been a lot of fun. I'm at 464 subs now.
Oh, wow.
I'm up, what's today? Wednesday. I'm up 24 since Friday.
Holy Hannah.
So I hit a little bit of a boom. And it's been nice, you know. I enjoy making content. I love doing the reviews of the movies. I wish I had more time, which I'll be back to my normal recording schedule soon, so I'll be able to do that, because this month there's going to be a lot of content. I have WandaVision. I have Prodigal Son. I'm going to review every episode of season 2 of that because I love that show so much. And then I have Batwoman.
You poor soul.
Batwoman's coming back. So yeah, that's, you know, I enjoy doing that. And I, you know how much I stream, you know,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have my 3 shows every week, and then I'm on another 2 to 3 at least every week. So I'm busy with it. It's a lot of fun. And I still, you know, have a family and all that stuff too.
Right.
I have to, you know, I'm still working, so I'm getting ready to start teaching soon, which is, yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I just hope they don't look into my YouTube channel.
But yeah, y'all will definitely be able to check out Etep's latest video down below and a link to his channel. So you mentioned that you joined the Fandom Collective through Twitter.
Yes.
Do you want to tell anybody about it, about how that started?
It just, I saw the FC, it came through my suggested tweets, and it's like, you know, you want to grow, you know, DM us, and I was like, what, you know, why not? I was kind of the point where it's like I wanted to branch out, and I'm difficult to just like, hey, you know, just hitting people up, you know, and I kind of been running in the same circles for a while, you know, over a year. And it was like, I need to grow more. You know, I didn't want to get stagnant and just lose what momentum I was building.
Right.
So DMs were exchanged, you know, conversations were had, and, you know, I just kind of got, you know, put into the fold, and, you know, Flip and Rookie and you and Fanzine and Penny and Daniela have been wonderful to work with over the last almost a year. Well, it's May will be a year. It's April or May, I think, will be a year. So yeah, it's, you know, and it's, I'm Fandom Menace, I'm Fandom Collective, I'm part of Rogue Entertainment. It's I'm with a lot of, I started networking once the dominoes started falling. It was easier for me to meet new people, and it's like, you know, the 4th wave of the Fandom Menace, I'm part of that. So it's like there's just been a plethora of new creators I've been, you know, blessed enough to work with, and it's fun. I really do. You know, some people you meet and it's like, why put this person with this person there? It's like when I had Stephen Walton, Salvador, and Nerdy Blurb on, that was one of the best episodes we had on Monday night. I mean, it was wonderful. It really was. And then there's some people that I had on, like, well, it doesn't matter. It was just really funny because they were on the FC stream we're on with it was Katarn and It's a Vase, and those two were like button heads. And then I was like, well, what the hell? I can control this. I bring them on my show the next night. It was the same thing again.
I think it was Nerd Talk. I brought you on
Nerd
with
Talk, yeah.
Nerd Talk.
Yep.
On this channel, and I was like, oh Lord, can't have them in the same room.
I felt bad. And then Mongo's big thanks, and he didn't even he couldn't get in a word. I barely could get in a word between Vase and Katarn.
I eventually had to put them in the corner.
And then I had him on my show the next night, and it was just as much of a dumpster fire. It was hilarious though.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes
I
it
love them
was.
both. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
I
same.
absolutely adore them. I just you cannot put those two on a stream together. And it's funny. I've worked with so many people now. It's like, okay, so I have to put you with you, and it's like sliding the the magnets around the board.
Right,
That's the
because
way it kind of works.
otherwise it's going.
Yep. Yeah, and I have a show in 3 hours. And I don't even have a script for it yet tonight, but well, I'm kind of
Ad
flying by
lib.
the. Oh yeah, we will. I'll put something together with the quickness. We've just been, today was so busy. It really was, but
Same.
it's just one of those days where at least I have the streams. I set up all the streams on Sunday for the week, so that was out of the way. But
Good.
yeah,
Good.
that's yeah.
Man, and you're just going up and up and up and up and up.
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah, that's the only
a
way to
good
go.
thing.
That's the only way to go.
Well,
isn't
you
it?
could go down, but that's not a way you want to go.
No. And that's it too. I always am. It's like I kind of have had to test the waters with content wise what I make, because some of it hits. Like I did the video about Chris Pratt's character in the comics, well, Star-Lord in the comics, Peter Quill, being bisexual. That video is at 708 views.
Oh wow.
I did one that I thought the other day would be about, would probably get some traction. The Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck thing, where Screen Rant had to recant their article about Keaton taking over as Batman for Ben Affleck, like 35, 33 views, something like that. I'm like,
yeah.
But my live show on Monday night has like 137 right now. Right. So it's just, it's algorithms, and it's like Pip. I found that I stopped doing a lot of Marvel content videos, individual videos, because the people that watch my channel don't care about the MCU anymore. I do. I still have.
There's a lot, but yeah, I think it really matters on just putting it out in more places. I get a lot of views on Tumblr, which is surprising. The Marvel fandom there is still very, very alive.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's just, you just need to probably put it in the right spots to get the attention.
Yep.
So,
yeah, the Fandom Menace really doesn't care about the MCU after Endgame. It's just like, it's over with. And me, I'm just like, well, I want to see Doctor Strange because Sam Raimi's doing it. And, I'm as bad as Spider-Man Far From Home was, I will still watch Spider-Man 3 because they're going to bring in Toby and Andrew and all that. So I'm like, I want to see this, I really do.
Okay, you need to get on Tumblr. I know it's a horrible place for people, but you have no idea how many people lost their minds over Spider-Man, the three of them, and the Charlie Cox announcement.
Oh, yeah.
People lost their minds, despite it maybe dead over on Twitter. Go to Tumblr. That's where the fans are.
All right, I'm gonna try. I'm not opposed to anything. It's like I'm on Parler,
just
but
tag the crap out of it.
Yeah, I'd have to. That's like I'm on Parler, but I always forget to post everything there. I don't ever go on there. I'm always on Facebook or Twitter, sometimes Instagram. So
right, it's like I forget to post on Parler and Instagram because I don't get a lot of attention over there.
Yep,
I've got more attention on Tumblr than anywhere else. Especially on my 13th hour where I'm doing a podfic. And I've also put it up on Archive of Our Own because it fits in there, kinda, sorta. But, yeah, it's just about sending all your stuff out. And is there anything else you would like to bring up in regards to everything you have worked on? Any future projects you're doing right now?
Oh yeah, there's some great Tony Tone Deaf and I have a couple reviews we're working on in conjunction together. We're reviewing some cool 80s movies. We're doing The Last Starfighter and Flight of the Navigator, which are two just gems of the 80s. And yeah, I just watched Flight of the Navigator on Disney Plus and with my son, and he loved it. We watched it like 4 times in one weekend. So yeah, I was like, I want to review this. I was like, I think it'd just be fun to do a fun review of that. And The Last Starfighter, oh my God, those movies, like that just, it takes me back to my childhood because The Last Starfighter was there when Star Wars wasn't,
Right.
It was, you had to look for those because after 83, we had to wait until 99. So it was like, there was a big gap. And that was just kind of one of those movies that kind of, was there. And so we're going to do a couple fun reviews of those. And like I said, I've got WandaVision coming up, I'll be reviewing for the channel. I've got Prodigal Son and now it's my turn. Batwoman. Then I've tried to block out the bad one, and I'll have Batwoman. And the Marvel shows are going to fall right into each other because
Yes.
after the WandaVision ends, you have Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that'll roll into Loki. And I'll be reviewing the MCU movies and the shows on the channel. I'm absolutely going to. And when Walking Dead comes back, I'll be doing that too. So, and then I'll still have some pop culture videos, and every live stream of the week will still be there. So I'm going to be busy with content. There'll be a ton of content on the channel. My goal is to get to 1,000 by, I want to be greedy and say my birthday, which is April 19th, but I'll shoot for June. I want to hit 1,000. I do. I feel that this is it's kind of my time. I'm getting a little more exposure, and I work hard to put good quality content and, entertaining live streams and have, a myriad of guests. That's why I started Fandom Menance Friday Night Live. That show is not about Tony and I. That show is about bringing a creator on and focusing on their projects for the night. We have an hour-long conversation about, and we would usually use that as a backdoor way to review The Mandalorian. We'd take the last 15 minutes of the show and talk Mando, but now it's just it's either we talk about what they're doing. We had Alan Yoskovitz on from Doom Scholar Studios.
Nice.
We had, Phoenix Animation on, Paulie from the Latino Slant. We've Flipped Out is coming on next, not this week, but the next Friday, which is the 8th, I think. Wait, no, I'm sorry. That's
the 15th.
The 15th. Flip is our guest on the 15th, and Flip is a busy man.
He is.
So we're going to have Flip on. So yeah, it's fun. That's what Fandom Menance Friday Night Live is. Wednesday night's going Rogue. That's my Rogue Entertainment show. That's tonight. 8:30. Our guest is M. Dastardly, who I met on Machiny 90s Batwoman art stream. I was on Sunday. So yeah, and I'll be on the Humpty Dump tonight at, I think, 7:00 over on Sporking News Podcast.
Nice. That's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, it's a busy night.
All right. So, like I said before, links of Etep's work will be down below, and we will catch y'all on the flip side.